Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to the final video in this DIY build of a belt sander that I've been taking on for the last little while. The actual build itself has only encompassed somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks. I know I wanted to get it done in under 2 so I can move on to that other project where I will be using this sander to adjust the lengths and trueness of the legs and various other components of that large aluminum stand I'm going to be making. But when I got to about the 2-week mark where I needed to decide whether or not I was going to continue this or go buy one, I was more than happy enough with the progress on it that I finished it off. It only took me a few more days. And I'm glad it did because actually, as I said, I am quite happy with how this worked out. This video is going to be all about me taking this ugly piece of wire, getting rid of it, and wiring up the box and the switch that you see there, the plate. I bought 2 plates because originally I thought what I was going to do was, well, use the sander actually to rough off one of the sides so I can get the box right up against the main support on the bottom there. But it didn't turn out to be necessary, so I just ended up with an extra plate. And that would be the wire I'll be using. I'll apologize for some of this video because it's going to be a lot of basic wiring 101. What I'm going to do here is just strip out a little bit in the middle here and then expose the wires and then attach them to the switch. It's not very hard to do. I'm sure all of you have done it at least once or twice. But it'll keep everything nice and neat and out of the way so that I don't have anything exposed or any wires dangling anywhere, which is kind of nice. This wire I use is kind of cool because it has a nice cloth twist to it so that you can pull off any sections you want and then just cut off the braided cord or whatever you want to call it afterwards. This is just me snipping off the ground wire. The ground wire, the motor doesn't have one, so I'll just be using that. I'll just twist it and attach it to the bottom of the box there for the ground. And this is just cutting the power line. I'm just gonna snip it and hook up to the switch, and then that's basically all there is to this sort of thing. Once it's all attached, what I'm gonna do is pop out one of the ends on the box here and feed the wires through, and then hook up the ground and screw it all into place. There we go. Gonna feed the wires through here now, and then once it's in place I'll attach the ground to the bottom of the box. And anyway, as this progresses here, I'm just gonna chat about the belt sander. There are some features about it that I really like, besides the fact that considering I wasn't sure how to machine the wheels. Got a couple comments on as the progress went along that the people thought I should have a bit of a bevel to them so that the belt tracks better. And I wasn't entirely sure because if you remember from the beginning of the video, I left a bit of roughness on the wheels just so they have a bit more traction. And as it turns out, initially when I first turned it on, there was some wobble in the path of the belt, but as I managed to adjust the wheels, because there's a fair amount of adjustment I could do on each one, I managed to get rid of all that, so I was quite happy with it. And here we're just going to strip off an end here, and this is just me wiring up the plug. The first time I did this, I think it was in grade 9 in some shop class. So yeah, anyway, the only complaint I think I have about the belt sander is the motor. It's not, I don't think, strong enough to do any serious grinding on anything other than aluminum. I'm not sure what the horsepower rating is. I probably should check on that. But I suspect it's not too hard to swap that out at some point if I decide I want to do anything with anything harder than aluminum. But as I said initially, I primarily almost exclusively work with aluminum. So we'll just play that by ear and see how it goes. And I'm just going to tighten these down. And then, nice thing about these plugs here is you can clamp everything down so you don't have any worry about, like if you pull on the cord or whatever, having it come loose from the screw-on fittings on the inside. Apparently that the bit I was using was too wide. I'm trying to find one narrow enough to get into the holes here. And all that's left to do on this now is to cut the wire on the other end and expose the leads so I can go over the other end and solder it all in place. There we go. And just that easy, even in fast forward. That's all set to move over. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to... I got some heat shrink tube. You can see a little bit of bag of it there over on the left. And I'm just going to put it over the wires now so that after I do the soldering, I can just slide it into place and then use it to, well, keep everything nice and tidy. And I apologize for how this is going to appear because this is a very awkward position I was trying to film this at, and it just, most of the time you're going to get to see the back of my arm or the back of my hand, and I realized that after I filmed a bit of it and I redid some of it, but it was kind of silly. Also, I'm cutting out way too much heat shrink tube here. That's all there. Yeah, I'm going to get that out of the way, and then we're going on to the soldering. And this is what I meant here. I left this clip on because it was just kind of funny. I'm setting everything up here too. I've already tinned the wires, and I'm going to get ready to solder them. And then what you get is a nice view, hold on a sec, of the back of my hand while I'm doing the work. So I repositioned everything after this little clip, and I redid it so that you can actually see what I'm supposed to be doing here. And here we go. I got the repositioned the camera now, and it's a little bit better view. But again, this is not where I normally do all my work for the over on the table there. This is actually where the belt sander is on the top of my my saw there. It's just not a good spot for filming this. So anyway, I'm gonna move the heat shrink tube over where it belongs now, over the two wires. And then we're just going to use the hot air gun to shrink them up so they're all nice and neat. There you go, in position. I'll do the same with the other one. And then it's going to a quick fast forward clip here of me heat shrinking. It's not exactly exciting, but actually I kind of like heat shrink too. It keeps everything nice and neat. But then again, because I have the semi-exposed ground wire there, I am going to use electrician's tape here, and I'm just going to wire everything nice and tight, keep everything out of place. And then, because that wire is also hanging out just a little bit, I am going to use a zip tie here and just tuck it into, there's a little bracket on the side of the motor there which hangs out a bit. And again, just to keep everything out of the way, just so things aren't dangling anywhere. And now, if you remember from all the other clips or the other videos I've uploaded, I've whined about how many times I've had to take this, all the arms apart and whatnot to, whenever I have to drill or sand or, or align anything, I've had to take everything apart to do any of that. So instead of actually taking the bottom of the plate off of this, I decided I was just going to use silicone and glue it into a position, and it should be more than strong enough for my purposes. So what I've done here is just sanded the bottom of this metal box and the top part of the grill, sorry, the top part of the platform, and that just gives the silicone a bit of a rough surface to adhere to. And then it's going to tape it in place, and it should be more than adequate adhesion for just keeping that box in position. And here we are the next day. It's cured, and I'm going to peel off the tape. And then we're going to see how sturdy it is. And after this, what I'm going to do is go through the adjustment phase, where I'm going to adjust each of the wheels for tracking and get everything ready for actual use. And I'm going to give this a bit of a shake, and there you go, more than solid enough. Alright, here's the belt running, and you can see there's a bit of a wobble there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust each of these the idle wheels and try to remove that. This is actually a lengthy process. It took me probably about an hour, maybe a bit more altogether. I'm just going to show you a little bit of it. Because at this point I made an interesting discovery about this build. As I went along, I thought I needed to build a way of adjusting tracking. And then so on the top idle wheel there, where I have the belt tensioner, I made a rather elaborate assemblage so I can adjust the position of that idle wheel by twisting a nut and screw-on piece and whatnot. And then during this process, when I was trying to adjust the tracking, I realized that particularly this idle wheel here down at the bottom of the front, small adjustments to that allowed me to adjust the tracking. So I decided I was going to film it here, and you can't really see what my hand's doing, but all I'm doing here is just slight changes in the position of that idle wheel, the tension on the nut, and I can move the belt all the way over to the right, all the way over to the left. It was kind of cool. So as you see that up in the upper right hand corner there, that well, my original intention as a design for adjusting tracking turned out to be completely unnecessary. And the few times I've actually used it to adjust the tracking, it's what I would call a very coarse tracking adjustment. Any small changes in that, and well, here you go, here's the final bit of it. So I put a nut on here to lock it down into place, because any small change in this caused that idle wheel to move sufficiently that it was way too much of an adjustment. So all I do now is I'm just going to stick with this particular, just using the wrench. I may add something later on just to adjust the tracking, sort of like a fine process. So here we are, the tracking's all adjusted. What I've done, I'm just showing you the side view just to see how the belt's not going back and forth. There's no wobbling in the wheels anymore. Everything's tightened down nicely, and everything's moving perfectly. And it's going to turn the motor off here in a second, and you can see it go to a stop. So for the rest of this video here, I'm just going to show you a bit of sanding and also a little sneak preview here of what's coming up in the next build. This is the big aluminum one I've been talking about pretty much every video I've done on this belt sander build. So I'm just going to show you a little bit here. This is me putting on a bracket so that I can make sure when I do the sanding it's nice and square, and then I'm just going to show you how that sanding process is going to go. I'm not going to show much of it obviously, because I'm going to save that for the other video series. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. This has been a very interesting process. If you like this sort of style, please like and subscribe. And it's going to finish this off with me doing this 90 degrees and then 90 degrees turning, trying to get a nice square sand on the end of this piece of square tube aluminum, which is going to be one of the legs one of the many legs of this stand. But enough of that. You'll see that in the next build. Thanks again.